listeners. I am Megan, and welcome to the very first episode of
Girls Talk!
The podcast that brings you to issues you don't talk about but should talk about, and those that you talk about but don't really think about. We hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far as we delve into our topic for our first episode. Are you excited, girls?
Yes!
But before we start, remember to follow our group channel, Girls Talk, where you can find other episodes that will surely pique your interest. Now, let's have our introductions with the girls I'm with today.
Hello, our dear listeners! I'm Aliana! Hi, I'm Yana!
Hi, I'm Lay.
And I am Shania.
Now, I personally think that sex ed definitely should be taught in schools.
Of course, they should. I'm pretty sure sex educations lower the rate of teenage pregnancies, right?
Yeah, and learning about sex education can also prevent the spreading of STDs.
True. There have been numerous reports about the rates of people dying from STDs like HIV and AIDS here in the Philippines. The rates are super high.
I saw an article related to that. I think I saved it on my phone. It says young people aged 15 to 24 account for 21% or 635 of AIDS-related fatalities in the country from 1984 to 2023.
What? That's crazy.
Look, there's more. In accordance with the most recent HIV/AIDS registry of the Philippine data, 86 Filipinos aged 19 and under were diagnosed with HIV in January 2023, excluding one case where the mechanism of transmission is unknown. All 78 teenagers developed their infection through sexual intercourse.
It's actually really sad. They keep getting higher each year.
But you know guys, it's never too late to avoid this kind of easily transmitted disease. Because aside from medications, the other thing we need is education.
I do agree with you, Yana. That's why I think we must strengthen the implementation and teaching of sex education to students and also our fellow citizens.
Exactly, because we all know that STD is transmitted sexually, whether orally or through anal and vaginal sex. That's why more people should be aware of this.
Yeah. You know guys, aside from STDs, pregnancy rate is also increasing nowadays. That's why I think people really need to be more educated about this.
Wait girls, speaking of pregnancy, I just want to share what I found out. Based on the Philippine Statistics Authority report last year, 5.4% of women between 15 to 19 years old were pregnant, which made us the second to the highest country to have the highest rate of teenage pregnancy. Isn't it very alarming? Because they were just teenagers.
Really? You know what? I heard almost the same as last year. According to the World Population Report, we are the 56th out of 150 countries that had unwanted pregnancies, and that completely shocked me.
Those teens maybe weren't informed about safe sex, and what's worse is that maybe they have transmitted STD without them knowing, or maybe they aren't aware that they have this disease. Poor kids, they really need someone to educate them.
I also heard that some STDs such as syphilis cross the placenta and infect the baby in the womb. If they weren't really aware of this, STDs could get much higher because even babies can get that from their parents who have this disease. How bad?
Oh no, so I guess the only way to stop this is a well-implemented sex education to schools because, you know guys, sex isn't really a negative topic to talk about. It should be normalized.
Actually, did you know that it took more than 5 years for the Department of Education to make guidelines for sex education?
Huh? Though the reproductive health law was already passed in 2012?
Yes, Shania. Because some advocates say that people still resist the idea of it.
But you know what's the funny thing about this? Some people believe that sex education is only harming our society today because it promotes children to have sex.
Not?
Yes.
I guess that's possible knowing that children will be children. It won't be unusual for them to be curious.
Did you guys also read about that article? The church saying that the teacher should not teach this topic and it should be their parents?
Yes, there are several various points of view in this.
However, for some reason, parents are ultimately responsible for their children's sexual education awakening.
The idea that parents should be the one teaching their children the most about sex-related topic is frequently based on cultural or religious belief.
Also, a lot of religious organizations, including the church, agree to that idea. That a child's primary source of ethical and religious teaching is their family.
Catholic churches are particularly talk about it, considering this topic contradicts their beliefs and causes misunderstanding regarding the nature, intent, and outcome of sex education based on religious grounds.
I think religions and education about sex should be separated.
Yes, that's right.
In another article I read by Bertrand Russell argues that religion serves a moral and religious and the only purpose of sex is reproduction, and that too only when it comes to heterosexual marriage.
However, parents should also be aware of this information to ensure that they will always have the proper answer to give their kids if they ever ask them a question out of the blue.
In addition, I think that instructors of comprehensive sex education need to be passionate about teaching young people about it and well-versed in the subject matter in order to avoid confusing or harming the developing minds of their students by bringing up unrelated subjects.
I believe that church misinterpreted the teachers who were required to instruct these children.
Although, they are right that parents are the key instructor in this regard. They shouldn't prevent children from learning about their sex from the people who are truly knowledgeable about this.
How many of us believe that discussing genitalia or any other aspect of sexual intimacy was a sin? Right? For it to be viewed as a sin by our religions or even our parents, even the discussion of our genitalia must be age appropriate.
I agree.
Since not everyone practices the same religion or holds the same beliefs, religions shouldn't have the final say in this matter.
With appropriate parental assistance, schools might want to implement this kind of instruction.
Did you know too what some believe to be the real objective of sex education?
To inform the youngster about the need of having healthy sexual interactions?
Yes, but did you know the possible results by opening this topic to the youngster?
Conversations about sex affect the thought process of children.
Some people still think that talking about this topic is encouraging the young people to have sex with anyone at an early age.
I agree. The older generation still holds this belief that talking about sex education could be used to push particular sexual orientations and that schools should have a neutral stance on the subject.
Furthermore, some people worry that disclosing this kind of information regarding safe sex practices and contraception could be seen as implicitly endorsing youth sexual engagement, which could encourage more young people to experiment with sexual activity.
As you all mentioned earlier, the incidence of STDs and unintended pregnancies rising annually.
Parents should cease worrying about these issues so that their kids won't engage in sexual activity without the necessary understanding.
So, when was the appropriate age to teach them?
Actually, that really depends on the parents of the children.
I believe that seminars on this topic should be made available to them as well in order to help parents understand the risks and diseases their children may face.
You're absolutely right. Since unintended pregnancy is something that parents are constantly worried would happen to the kids, they should also be aware of the importance of sex education in helping their kids avoid getting pregnant.
In particular, kids these days are highly interested in it.
They might even have sex without realizing the risks involved.
Additionally, the youth are encouraged to take part in sex education in order to refute wrong claims made about it and how to avoid including the most common one, pregnancy at our age, and diseases that could result in more serious issues.
And sex education gives young people the tools they need to make responsible decisions about their bodies and relationships by accurately teaching them about sexual health, puberty stages, and human anatomy. It aids in their comprehension of the consequences of their choices and the significance of accepting responsibilities for their sexual health.
Another reason why most people are against sex education is that they want the kids to be kept pure and away from these absurd topics.
They are still instilling the idea of virginity to them? Now, that's absurd.
Which is highly imposed on women. It's like a rule for women to not have sex before marriage to give their purity as a gift to their husbands, or else they would get called names and get shamed by everyone.
Back then, they would even examine a woman's hymen to really check if they're a virgin. So an examiner will do a two-finger method to check if their hymen is still intact or not. It is believed that if a woman's hymen is broken due to having sex, then they are not considered a virgin anymore.
That is freaking ridiculous.
I don't think that this exam is still being done up to this day, as it should, because it's absolutely insanity.
Right? It's important for everyone to know that at any moment in a woman's life, her hymen can be broken because it is so thin. Whether you're just riding a bike or doing any intense physical activities, the idea that having sex for the first time can tear the hymen is completely a myth.
I just hope that the concept of virginity fades away too, because it hinders youngsters from learning about sexual intercourse properly.
I'll also add that parents are against sex education.
Yeah.
The main reason is that they think it encourages their kids to have sex.
Well, at least they're protected.
I agree with you, because let's be honest, it's so much better for us to be informed than to know nothing at all. Plus, it will make the kids more comfortable to talk about it since they are their parents.
We've delved into the realities of teenage pregnancy, the importance of safe practices to prevent STDs, and why comprehensive sex education is no laughing matter.
As we wrap up, our hope is that this podcast sparks important discussions among parents, educators, and teens themselves.
It's time to empower the younger generation with the tools they need to navigate relationships and make informed choices.
Thanks for tuning in to another enlightening episodes of the Girl Talk! Until next time, time. Take care, stay informed, and let's continue the dialogue on responsible sex education for all. This is Girls Talk! Signing off with a wink and a nudge. Happy exploring, listeners! Bye!